Can you tell us what Stephen was like?
Yes, he had integrity, very sociable and likeable young man. Had lots of friends, loved sports, played for a football team. His friends have even formed a football team in honour of his name in Peterborough.
Nice.
Stephen was very bright. He'd achieved 8 GCSEs, A to C at school, and 2 AS levels. But he was thinking about, you know, a career working for the railways.
How often did he visit his GP?
Really.
And why did he visit his GP on this occasion in question?
Prior to him visiting his GP, he'd had his jaw broken through stopping the fight. So we went on holiday to Barbados with my mum, who goes there every year, has lots of friends. She's took lots of young people there. And he had a wonderful time. He came back feeling refreshed. And then he just went off. I wouldn't answer his mobile, which was very unusual. So I was very, very worried. And when he came back, I said, if you can't talk to me, then you can talk to your GP.
Okay, so then you took him along.
I made a phone call, I phoned the GP, and I was really upset because he hadn't answered his phone calls and stuff, and I was crying on the phone to the GP. That I was crying on the phone, which is very unusual for me, because I don't really, you know, show my emotions like that. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve.
So can you now explain what took place between Stephen and his GP at that appointment, although we know that you weren't present at the time?
Yeah, I went there with him, and when after a 10-minute consultation he came out and he said, oh, the doctor's given me these. We went to the chemist and we got the fluoxetine. And I said, and did he say anything to you, Stephen? And he said, well, all he said, the doctor said was, I don't really want to give you these. I would prefer it if you had counselling. But Stephen never said to me that the doctor had arranged for him to see a counsellor. It was like he would prefer Stephen to have counselling. Right. And I thought maybe, you know, most people I know who have had counselling have had to wait. There is a waiting list for about a year.
I see.
You know, so I really didn't think that it was really going to be that quick, you know. So we got the tablets. There was no leaflet in them, in the box.
And this is Prozac, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know it was Prozac then. I only found that out later. So he took one every day. I made him take one every day. I would say, have you took your tablet today, Stephen? If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have took them. Right. I thought I was doing the right thing. And I didn't, and I thought antidepressants didn't kick in until after about 2 weeks, you know.
What effect were they having on him?
They were having a terrible effect. They, you know, I was already upset and concerned. But Stephen then was quiet. Before the medication, he was quiet and introverted. You know, and he wouldn't really talk. You know, he wasn't as outgoing. He wasn't his usual self. Right. Let's say that. But he would still go out. And he wasn't aggressive or confused or anything. So that's the difference. After he started to take the tablets, he became like a completely different person. He was confused. He wouldn't go out. He became completely paranoid. He was extremely agitated. And he started to say things like, I don't deserve to live. And he was stabbing the sofa one day. And I said to him, are you on drugs? I thought he was, even though Stephen never took drugs, he's very healthy and fit. Because I don't know, you know, what happens to people on drugs. I just thought, what's going on here? I became totally confused to the point where I was really not helping.
So did Did Prozac help him at all?
Of course it didn't help him.
No.
It actually made the situation 50 times worse. It made it impossible for me to help, took away all my energy. Any energy I did have, Prozac took away. And it's what made Stephen kill himself. He would never do that. I mean, when it happened, not one of Stephen's close friends, but someone that had known Stephen for many years said to me that he knew 100 people, of 100 people who would do that before Stephen.
Wow.
I've never known so many people to be so shocked. You know, Stephen's never tried to kill himself, has never tried to self-harm. You know, this just came completely out of the blue.
Okay, so can you explain the occurrences the day that Stephen took his life?
I went to work. When Stephen, before the first appointment with the GP, I took time off work, like 3 days or 4 days, because I was so upset, and you know. So when this was all going on, I was trying to keep everything together. So I went to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I phoned up at about 12 o'clock to ask him had he took a tablet, and to tell him, you know, you'll feel better soon. And he just said, "Oh, Mum," and put the phone down.
Right.
And I sort of walked home that day. It was February. The sky turned black. But this is what I remember. It started to hailstone, and just before I got into the door, it's like the sky had turned black. And I went in, and I had a couple of fags, and I thought to myself that I can't cope anymore, you know. So I thought I'll phone the GP up and I'll tell him, because I'd sort of come to the end of my tether. You know, I had nothing left to give. But unfortunately it was too late.
What happened?
I went up to, as I walked up the stairs, Stephen was hanging from the loft. It was just too late.
Thanks very much, Bernadette.
Thank you.
Good.